Okay, so I've packaged that lure and she's ready to go. What do you think? She looks kind of pretty. We'll put her over there in the inventory pile. Okay, what I wanted to do today was to go over actually building a lure. It's actually really simple. Let me get my gloves on. What's nice about these gloves, they're from, I got them at Harbor Freight for, I don't know, 10 bucks or something. But what's nice is they have these XXL gloves, which fit my hands, because my hands are so big. And they're 5 mil, so they don't necessarily break on stuff, but they're thin enough that I can actually really feel things. So I'll put these on. And the reason why you want to, if you're selling lures, especially this type of lures, the reason why you want gloves or something similar to this is because when you're handling some of the blades or some of the components, your oil and the stuff that's on your fingers can get onto a lot of these blades, and these blades obviously it'll put a fingerprint right there, and it'll, you don't want your fingerprints going out there on different fishing lures. So at any rate, so I've got a shaft ready to go. So let's go ahead and build it using the components. So I'm going to get this is going to be a silver spinner, so I'm going to get a silver blade. I'm going to want two, I want to say 3/32 or slightly larger or slightly less. 3/32. What's nice about these gloves is I can pick up a single one of these beads. I do want a clevis, so let's go ahead and get a clevis. And a body of some sort. And so, let's go ahead and get one of those. I'm going to use a different type of body for this. Kind of an angled bullet shaped body. And what's nice is that now it's open to what I can use after the body. The way I tie, or not tie, but the way I build lures is to allow this to turn freely, meaning that I don't loop the back side of this. So let's say this is turned around, and I stick both ends into this little hole here for the lure, and it prevents it from spinning. I actually like the spin action, so it really doesn't matter. It also allows it to slide up and down the shaft, make noise. I am going to put a solid bead on there, and that should, so I've got this, and then the bead, and then the clevis, and so on and so forth. We'll see where we're at right there. Let me add a cone. So what's nice about these cones is that they are kind of a separator, but at the same time they also add weight. If you can see that. And I use that in between the body and the bead. Okay, so let's get started. So first, I am going to put on a bead. Normally I'm doing this a dozen at a time, and so doing one at a time kind of slow is kind of a slow go deal. I'm losing the bead down below. So we put one end of the clevis here. Okay, so one end of the clevis is in, one end is out. And I'm going to put the blade on. So the reason why I want to do this, so I am going from the top down, but I'm starting at the bottom and going up. So the top is actually down here. So now I'm going to take the blade, and there's a concave side and kind of the bubble side. So what I want to do is, since this is going to spin with the bubble side up, I'm going to turn this over so it's upside down and put it on the clevis. And the reason why is because once this is right side up, it'll be correct. All right, let's put the other bead on. So I put the small cone end, you can see that, I put the small cone end going up, or I should say down, and this should go up against the body. If I'm using a bell housing, what's nice about this is this fits right into the bell. If this part of the lure was a bell, this would fit right into it. And then above it I'd put, say, another bead, and then the bell would go back and forth and actually make a noise. But for this, I'm just going to put that there, and now I'm going to put the bead. So what's nice about this, and what I was telling you about this, is normally you want the body to be the exact same size as the blade. When you lay it up against the body, you want to make sure that the blade is about the same size as how long you make your body. Okay, so now we're ready. I'm going to say that this is probably going to be too long, so I usually use my nippers here. I'm going to go ahead and nip a few bits off. Now, normally I can keep that on, but to keep things nice and tight and clean, I'm going to nip this off. So that piece is there. Okay, next steps. I'm going to use I'm going to bring the camera up. I'm going to use I use a Hagens wire former. So it's got a bottom. Let me turn the camera here. So it's got a bottom portion which basically wire forms the loops a little bit, and then the top form, which when you bring this down, your shaft is going to be in here like this. This handle, whatnot, takes the shaft and twists it. But if you look up here into the V shape, I'll get a close up on that. If you look up into the V shape there, you'll notice that there's a groove for the end part of the shaft. So let's get this started. So I'm going to go ahead and make what Hagens calls the R loop. So I'm going to go ahead and make this come around. Oops. And then I'm going to close it up a bit. So it makes a little bit of an R loop. So this is actually going to be the end loop. But if you notice, it completes and then wraps around. So the way this is going to work is once I put it in here, the bended part in the tag end is going to go in one of the grooves. I usually like to use the groove away from me because I'm going to turn clockwise. But before I do this, I am going to add a split ring. Normally I would put a hook on there and go ahead and twist it up there, but for now I'm going to just use a split ring. So let's go ahead and use a split ring here, and put that in there. And now I'm going to turn. So you want to put pressure going this way on the handle. That way it keeps the barrel rolls nice and tight. Okay, so we're good. That wasn't much of a tag in, so we're just doing a nice quick and easy wrap around. That should keep this split ring from moving. Next, I'm going to take a split ring plier. Let's see here. Where's the end here? There's the end. Okay, normally I use a split ring plier and then I use a round nose plier, and these have to be round. These are worth their weight in gold as far as this is concerned. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and put my hook on. Because this is a size 2 blade, kind of a smaller spinner, I am going to be using a size 10 hook. Okay. Okay, the hook's in. I'm going to use these round nose pliers to twist it on. The split ring is a size 2. And there you have it. And the spinner is within a decent amount. I've seen a lot of spinners done where the clevis in the top part of the spinner, and you'll see probably a ½ inch until the top loop. The problem with that is that you can get it will definitely work, but the problem with it is you don't want the profile of your spinner to be too big.